Hey friends, James with Team Finish Strong, and as I promised, I'm here today at the battlefield to discuss with you the top 5 questions I'm asked as a new Tesla Model 3 owner. So let's get into it. Now, probably the number one question that I'm asked as a Tesla owner is, does the car really drive itself? And I can say that without a doubt, it does, but under certain conditions. Now there's two types of autopilot features. There's basic autopilot, which comes with every Tesla, and then there is full self-driving. Now I'm not going to go into the details on those two features, but yes, it can drive itself under certain conditions. The next question I'm asked a lot is, what's the range on a Tesla? Well, if there's any weakness to be had in a Tesla, I would say range is probably its Achilles heel. But it's not quite like that. It's not that bad. My car has an EPA estimated range of 263 miles. Now, with driving habits and usage of things like air conditioning and such, your real world range is going to be around 200 miles in a standard Model 3, Standard Range Plus, which is what I have. That is your basic bottom of the line Tesla. And the range only goes up from there. If you get a long range or performance model in Model 3, or if you get a Model Y, the range will go even higher on those models as they're more expensive. So if you're trying to get a basic car like mine, you're looking at about 200 real world miles between charges. And then there's the question of price. While these cars may look like $1 million, they don't cost nearly as much as you think. My car, which is the Standard Range Plus, is Tesla's entry-level vehicle, and I purchased it at $36,990. Throw in a $2,000 paint job for the red color, which I love, and you have a grand total of $38,990 on the car. Now that's not nearly as much as probably some folks may think. Now there are a lot more expensive models out there. You have the Model S, the Model X, and the Model Y, and all of those go up from that price considerably. And also if you want to get more range, that also increases the price as well. So there are a number of models to choose from, but if you're looking for a basic car like mine, you can get into it for under $40,000. Now with one caveat, and that is that with the global supply shortage that we're having right now, prices have increased this year on the car. However, there may be some tax credits coming down the road that may offset some of that, or offset it and give you back some savings. So stay tuned for more information out there in the news media on these tax credits that are coming and that are in the works, and maybe you might be able to get into a car for closer to $30,000 than $40,000 this year. And then there is the question of charging. Now, with the shorter range on these cars, you do have to charge more often than you would fill up at a gas station with a regular vehicle. But I can tell you, with Tesla's wide network of superchargers, you don't have to charge as nearly as often as you think. In fact, on long road trips, you can go about 100 to 150 miles between charges, and there are superchargers conveniently located all up and down the US to help you make those decisions very easy. And in fact, inside of the Tesla navigation, it will automatically route you to the best superchargers to get you on your way for long road trips. Now that being said, if you're trying to do a very long day trip where you're just driving around a particular area, that is one thing that I found was a little bit of a disadvantage owning a Tesla, because with superchargers somewhat widely spaced apart, if you're staying in one area, you might have to divert out of your way 30 minutes or even up to an hour to get to a supercharger so that you can continue on your way. Other than that, if you're going, let's say, across country, up and down the East Coast, on those major interstate routes, there are plenty of superchargers to stop at, so you never really have to think or worry about charging when it comes to that. Now, as far as charging itself, it's super simple. If you're stopping at a supercharger, it's as simple as getting out of your car and plugging it in. There's a charge port on the vehicle that opens up automatically with the press of a button and allows you to start your charging session. Billing is done automatically through your Tesla account, so you don't have to worry about a thing. You just go ahead, plug in, sit, relax, or get out, enjoy a bite to eat at a local restaurant, and then be on your way. Now, if you're charging outside of Tesla's network, it's a little bit more complicated. You do have to have an account with a network provider like ChargePoint, for example. But once you do, the charging is not that much more difficult. It's still almost plug and play, but with the added step of identifying yourself as to who you are when you're stepping up to that charging station, because it doesn't know what type of car, what type of account. But it's still pretty simple. There are two different types of charging. There's supercharging, which is the fastest level of charging, and that can get you back on your way on a road trip within about 15 to 35 minutes, depending on how much you've depleted the battery. Then there's also level 2 charging, which is more what you'll find in those external networks like ChargePoint. Those are great for times when you need to stop for a couple hours or more and you just want to plug in and charge while you're out. I did this on the last road trip that I was at, and there is conveniently a level 2 charger in the ChargePoint network situated just across the street from the meetup point for one of my group rides that I attend. So I'm really thankful for that. I'll be able to just plug in, go to the group ride. A couple hours later, my car's already topped off, ready to go. And in fact, that particular charger is free too, so I'm getting the charging for free. It's just an added benefit. Level 2 charging is typically less expensive than supercharging. So if you are at your destination and you're out, you can plan potentially around places that offer that level 2 charging, and you can get topped off on your battery relatively less expensive than it costs to do a supercharger. Now, that being said, charging is still far less than it costs to fill up a tank on average, mile for mile. So these cars are definitely a money saver when it comes to actual usage. That's why they're such a great commuter car. Also, if you're charging at home, for the most part, you never have to worry about visiting a gas station. I plug in at home at night, at the end of the day, and then my battery's ready to go in the morning. So it's super easy. I never have to visit a gas station or a charger for all of my daily work and commuting. Don't have to worry about it. It's only on those road trips that I even have to think about superchargers. So that's charging. Okay, and then there's the question of, is it fun to drive? Well, let me tell you, not only do these cars look great, but they are truly fun to drive. And it's thanks to the motors that are in these electric vehicles. They can propel a car from 0 to 60 in less time it takes for me to complete this sentence, or about 5.2 seconds. And that's the slowest Tesla they have. It only goes up from there. But let me tell you, back when I was a kid, this car is faster than some of the world's fastest cars from when I was a baby. When I was just a little tyke, this car is just about as fast as those world-class cars. And in fact, about as fast as one of my favorite cars, the Ferrari GTO. So let me tell you, Teslas are something to be experienced, let me tell you. Well, I think that about covers all of the major questions that people have. But if you have some other questions for me about Teslas that I didn't cover, feel free to put it in the comments. And if you did like this video, if you want to see more videos about Teslas and what it's like to be a first-time Tesla owner, please let me know. Like the video, subscribe, let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to put out more content for you all. Take care. Have a good one.